Guys, it's already late enough. I am so sorry that it took so long. We were so late. Had a couple things come up tonight. And again, still been messing a lot with the setup and adjusting everything, trying to get cameras and everything set up. So every time getting on, I almost start over. But I'm so sorry we're so late. But holy crap, do we have an episode to talk about. Thank you guys. It looks like you've already started talking in the chat about tonight's episode. I mean, obviously, how could you not? Apologize. I am just going to get my notes pulled up over here real quick because I definitely tried to take notes tonight, although it was not easy. It was not easy keeping up with the rest of the house and everything, and trying to take notes all at the same time was not really wasn't able to keep up as much as I would have liked to have. But we're here, and why is this doing that? There we go. Well, still a little bit less. There we go. But we are here, and I'd like to try and go through everything in order, but I don't know that we will. We're probably going to skip around a lot and just kind of talk about whatever you guys are talking about, and I'm just so excited. Robbie says, "How'd you like that double eviction?" One of my favorites we've had in a very, very long time. I cannot believe how good of a double it was, in my opinion. I thought it was amazing, and I am just beyond excited to talk about it. I'm going to try and fix one thing real quick just because it's bugging me, because I think I can get a better angle here. I'm going to do it this way. Woo. Nope, ain't going to. Whatever. We'll deal with it for now. I know, this is terrible. Terrible production quality, but like I said, we're still setting stuff up over here and whatnot. All right, whatever. Yes, I love tonight's episode. It was a great double and very unexpected because like I said last night, this week I've been kind of a casual viewer. Haven't really been keeping up with the feeds. I was trying to take a bit of a step back, and so I was really trying over the last couple of days to catch up on some stuff. Some of the stuff that I was hearing seemed to be accurate. Some of it wasn't. And so, we kind of had a stream last night where we talked about some of that. And I tried catching up a little bit more today. I listened to one of the updates today for yesterday, and still was having a difficulty following along with everything just because it seemed like everything was built up and then it was completely torn back down again. But well, I'm just gonna start as far since this is the intro. I'm gonna start the stream tonight by talking about the intro that we had from Big Brother. What was up with Julie? She couldn't say her own first name without looking at the notes, and she had no idea what show she was on because she had to look at her notes to say welcome back to which show she was. Was she having a stroke for real? I was concerned for Julie Chen. I don't even think she used her last name, did she? Or her Moonves. I think it was just Julie Chen. I might be wrong about that, but that's how I remember it anyway. I'm gonna put my blue light glasses on here because this is. I'm gonna try and see how these work. Probably don't look very good. We'll see. We'll try them out. Ugh. Oh no, they're super. Oh, that's too much of a glare. We'll try this out later. But yeah, I was like, what is going on with that intro? Hope she's doing okay though. Hope there's nothing serious going on. Another thing about the intro that I really liked was them shouting out Janelle for her holding the record and then Michael beating it. We've never really had anything like that in Big Brother before. Survivor, they talk about it all the time. They talk about competition records. Anytime they have repeating players, they mention how this person played this many days, and like they're constantly talking about different records of like days that they played and competitions and times and that sort. So this is something very Survivor-ish that they've been doing for quite some time. And I think it's cool to be able to see that because there isn't a ton of records to break that I can think of really in Big Brother, besides just overall comp wins. So, and really, when you think about it, what they're only being roughly the same amount of weeks in each season, you're going to get to a certain point where it's pretty much going to be unbeatable. I mean, I don't really know how. I mean, I guess like if someone got drawn and won every single veto, that record, from the beginning of the season, that could, I guess that could, have a bit of an impact, but I really can't think of a whole lot of different records that they could have. But I thought it was cool seeing that throwback to Janelle on there. Anyway, so we started with the episode, and Michael mentions how basically every time Terrence is up, they have an excuse to keep him down and not take him out. And he was like, "We just need to go ahead and get Terrence on." It was really interesting to me this season thinking about Michael's arc because he started out being a first nomination, very, very underrated, and he instantly went from where he was at to completely just putting himself back in, a position where he was running the house basically. It's been a very interesting character study through all that. That being said, I'm not gonna lie, I did not like Michael's exit tonight. I thought, and I am a purist. Why is this all the way over there? Hopefully you can hear me better now. Michael is way too far away. I do apologize for that. I do not. I'm a game purist. I've talked about that all the time. I want the purity of the game, and so I am all for throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. And that being said, I understand that from Michael's perspective, the way I interpreted his downfall was not that he didn't see it coming. Obviously, he was smart enough to recognize that, he already said on the episodes he's going to have to win every single competition to stay alive in this game. He already knew that, and he essentially mentioned it earlier this week, I think it was, to Brittany, or basically like, I'm okay with that, or at least talking about a conversation he had with her. He was like, I'm okay with that. I've already come to terms with that. I know where I am with that. So, that's fine for me. He got very cocky in that, and I don't think that. I think he had an invincible mentality where he was logical. He knew it was possible, if not likely, that this could occur tonight, but he still subconsciously felt invincible. He thought that he's done so good so far, he's won so much so far that, well, he's bound to win the rest and take it all the way. And I think that cockiness caught up with him, and I think that it just caused him to be very... It really caused him to feel like he was invincible. Crazy Matt says Michael is a sore loser. I agree 100%. But what I was saying was this. For him being in that position where he's on the block and he's like, look, I know that I'm leaving, so I got to throw everything at the wall and hope that it sticks. I get that 100%. I get that 100%. But the problem is you were starting to say things that just weren't necessary. Like, I feel like regardless, in that moment, he knew he was leaving. So, again, from a game perspective, he has every right to do that, and throw Brittany under the bus the way he did, and talk to the people the way he did. But just because he can, and I support his right to be able to do that 100% within the way I appreciate the game. I 100% respect his right to be able to do that. However, I do not like that he did it. I do not think that it was necessary. I think it was tasteless. I think it was the reaction on Brittany's face, and he knows the type of position Brittany is in. He knows where she's at on a game level, right? I mean, for the most part, yeah, she's been moving around a little bit more, but he knows where she's at on a game level. He also knows where she's at on a mentality level, and I just feel like knowing how she is, knowing the way her emotions are, I feel like that was incredibly unnecessary. And so I completely respect him throwing everything at the wall, trying to make something stick, and respect that he has the right to be able to say that. And I would never want someone to not do it because they feel like they can't. That being said, he had the right to choose, and I think he made a very poor decision. I think that the way that people are going to interpret that, I mean, he's already got a really bad rap right now. It's like people in the house started to see, everything that happened last week. Well, why did they sit on that information for so long? And now you got the jury that we saw tonight was not happy about it. And now you have all these people that are upset about this very serious thing. And now you're going to just completely destroy any remnants of your reputation, in my opinion anyway, based on the comments you made walking out of the house. And I just think that it was incredibly tasteless. I don't think it was necessary, and it was obviously very clearly hurtful for her. You could just see the look on her face as soon as he said that. They flashed to her, and I've never seen such genuine, raw, just hurt and pain, because she's like, what the heck? And even whenever I get kind of antsy with like some of the speeches whenever they go overboard, especially whenever they're like, it's time to leave. They've already been evicted, and they're just sitting there, like with Indy when she was just like going and going, and I'm like, oh, that like honestly gives me anxiety, almost like as it was a producer to be like, okay, get her out, right? For this, I'm like, okay, can we just stop, Michael? Like, it's not like, just stop. You're done. There's nothing else for you to say. You said everything, and he just keeps word vomiting over and over. And then when he finally shuts up and sits down, and you can just see Brittany like, what the heck? Why did you say that? Why did you do that to me? And he's just cold. And I'm very, very, very curious what was said in between him being put up and when we came back, because as soon as we come back to the episode, Julie's immediately like, house guest, trying to round him up, get them all to sit down. And before she's able to get even a single syllable out, it sounded like he was going off on Turner, saying that, but what I heard, now this was, I only listened to it the one time, I could have misheard it, but what I heard was Michael was saying, and he didn't even specifically say Turner by name, but I'm assuming because Turner's HOH, he was talking to him, that you said you would never put up someone of the LGBT community. I don't know if that is what he said verbatim. I don't know if that's what he was talking about, but that is the one concern that I have for the type of, like, that is a little bit concerning to me, because you can't isolate groups based on, because you can't, like, if someone says, hey, I'm not going to put you up because of this specific reason, that's fine. That's totally within their rights. But you can't tell people, you can't put me up because we're one and the same and we share this commonality, and how dare you put me up because it doesn't matter what it is, right? If someone wants to do that, hey, by all means, that's awesome. But you can't, like, force someone to feel that, oh, they have to follow by that. And so I would be very, like, I know Turner talks a lot, but I would be very surprised if he ever straight out said, oh, I would definitely never put up anyone in the LGBT community. Like, I So yeah, I don't know. Robbie says yes, that's what he was saying, but Turner brought it up first. Okay, so there is some context there with what he's saying. And again, that's why I said Turner talks a lot. So if he said something in similarity to it, I would not be surprised at all. But it does, at least hearing it does kind of, it always kind of bugs me whenever it's like, because we're part of a group, you can't. And so I'm like, I don't, by all means, if you feel like you're in a better opposition to do that, or you feel like that's what's best for you on a game level, on a personal level, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But because you want to like back up people from your group, like people that are in those types of groups, I understand that, but it worries me whenever they try and do that, because then it's like, well, then you have a bunch of people, and who's going to go after who, you know? So that's always been my only real concern with that is, hey, yeah, we have to make sure that we're giving these people the opportunities to do that, but there's got to be a little bit of flex there. But I don't know. And the other reason I bring that up is because every single person that went into the DR, there's 3, but all 3 people that voted seemed very, very torn up and like utterly shocked. Like even Alyssa was shocked. Like everyone seemed very, very just like, whoa. So I'm like, I don't know if it was just his speech that did that to them, and maybe they were upset on Brittany's sake, because we saw Brittany and we saw how they reacted. Robbie said after the show, when the feeds came back on, who do you think was the sweetest to her and sat with her when she cried? I don't know. I glimpsed at that. I thought you were talking about when the episode came back, because whenever the episode's ending and it cuts back, they're all just like huddled around her and they're like, I'm sorry. Like you can tell they are genuinely feeling for her and trying to comfort her, because they're like, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was what really kind of shook all of them, is like, dude, you just screwed truly hurt your friend that way. And so I would not be surprised if that's why. But you know, and Crazy Mad says they had to vote him out, they wouldn't get another shot. And that's the thing, is he's sitting there and he's like, Alyssa, Taylor, if you go along with this, then it's just going to look like Monty and Turner's move, and it's not going to look like you guys had any part of it. Okay, well, first off, they are having a part of it, because they're choosing to vote against someone, especially Taylor, someone that has been her ally from the beginning. Just that, being in that position alone, does show that you had a part of this, because that is a hard trigger to pull when you have been that close to someone. And it's not like that was top secret info, right? I mean, it might not have been as obvious as Michael and Brittany were, but they were not hiding at all the fact, at least they weren't doing a very good job, that Taylor was close to Michael and Brittany. So her being in that position alone is already demonstrate decision making and being part of that. But also too, he's like, so keep me and then I'll take them out so you don't have to worry about that. It's like, dude, your logic, like he was scrambling so hard because his logic made no sense at all whatsoever. They're like, okay, yeah, we'll keep you because, I mean, it's not even like he was denying the fact that he was the biggest threat there. That's what he should have been doing. He should have been trying to downplay his threat level and not just be like, oh, look at how big of a move it is that I'm going out, that the jury's just going to give the vote to them because, oh, they're the ones that made the move. And this huge move, this is going to look like their move. You don't want them to have this move. It's like, dude, you are putting yourself in a worse position by doing that because now they're like, yeah, it is going to come across as his move, but you are backing up the very reason as to why we have to make this move anyway. And who's to say that just because, like, in this position, Michael's been leading the charge for so long, now you have Monty and Turner taking, I mean, this wouldn't happen without Monty. If pretty much anyone else had won that veto, Michael, I feel like Michael would probably say, I don't know that for a fact. Well, that's not true. That might not be true at all. But still, had Monty not won this, there was a good shot that didn't happen. And so I do feel like Monty and Turner do get a fair amount of split credit for this, because I don't know that Turner was going to put Michael up had Monty not been the one that won and kind of made that decision. But it's all of his logic was flawed, because now they're getting that shot to take him out. Who's to say that Taylor and or Alyssa don't also get that shot to do the same thing to Monty or Turner? That very well could happen. I don't know how likely it is, but if they do, and it is in their best interest, those girls, to band together and go after the two guys. If I would be very nervous if I was in Brittany's position right now, because if she's no longer trying to play for second place and now she's like trying to win, I don't know which route you go, because if you take out Taylor and bring Alyssa to the end, that's gonna really anger some people. Like, okay, you really had this close bond with Alyssa or with Taylor, and you cut her right at the very end. And I think a lot of people would be upset that Taylor was cut in general. So I don't know if she would still have the votes there. That being said, I don't know even if Brittany takes this to the end and goes all the way, and brings Taylor, that they would still give it to Brittany over Taylor. So I still don't know if I can see a path to the end for her. I really don't see anyone that she can win over, and that's a shame, because when I think of a lot of different house guests from past seasons, I can think of several that she could take to the end and beat. There's been a lot of people that have been in her position that just had worse people around them, and they actually, someone like, based on her position, I would definitely think that she could win against some of those other people. Let's catch up where we leave off. Crazy Matt says, Michael ruin any chance at America's Favorite Player. I think so. I don't think he's going to get it at this point. I think there was a chance early on, but I think after the events of last week, I mean, the casual audience really were not made aware of Kyle's comments and all that stuff. I know they briefly touched on it, but they really hadn't said much else after that. But like, after that happened, after the events of last week happened, I think that kind of, tanked it from there. I don't know. I don't see any possible chance of him getting AFP at this point. I really don't. Not even top three. Not even top three. I think that after what he did to Alyssa tonight, I think that I would not be surprised if Alyssa got up there. I don't think she will. But if depending on how the next couple weeks go and how narratives might be portrayed, I could see that being a tipping point. Again, I don't think it will be. I don't think that's what we're going to end up seeing. But I wouldn't be completely shocked if we did at this point. And he definitely put the nail in that coffin for sure, all on his own. Crazy says AFP. Taylor's going to win AFP. Probably. I mean, that's the most likely bet, in my opinion. I do still think Joseph has a strong chance of winning. But the only person that I can see beating Joseph right now is Taylor, and vice versa. So I think you're right. I do think Taylor probably still will win AFP. And a large portion of that is because she's still in the house. She's still someone that the audience is watching and is being fresh in their mind. So, he's already been gone. It's not often that America's Favorite Player is someone outside of the top six. I don't think, because those last four evictions tend to happen pretty quick. So, within a week or two. Whereas by that point, where he was out, he was the second juror member. That's already been, 2 weeks? So I think that it's kind of already gone out of some people's minds a little bit. But I don't know. More jury segments might help, especially after tonight's. And we'll catch back up here in just a second and go over tonight's because I really enjoyed that jury segment. Robbie says if they hadn't taken the chance, I don't think they would have had another shot. Oh no, for sure. I mean that was the only shot they had. That was the only chance they had. And so I mean, I do think that I would be willing to bet if he had got another. If he was still there, I would not be shocked. Like I would probably put money on he loses another one, just because that is like he's making it look a heck of a lot easier than it is. That keeping up that momentum is insanely difficult, and especially the further on you get, again, the more cocky, the more arrogant he becomes, and the more subconsciously cocky and arrogant, the more subconsciously he's been feeling invincible. I don't know that he's going to be able to. I mean, we see that with how often do we see that in sports teams? Amazing teams just get overly confident and start making riskier plays and taking much bigger risks. They're not protecting their guys, and look what happens. The opposing team, who should not have had a chance, wipes them out. And so, I mean, you see this all the time. As an OU fan, I've seen this many times. But, so, I wouldn't say that it was the only chance they had to do it, but I definitely think that I'm not gambling on another one. Like, if he's already there, then yeah, I would put money on him potentially losing another one. But I am not I'm not risking anything, even giving him another opportunity. Because even though at least I feel like he's likely to at least probably miss one more, that being said, that doesn't mean that, I mean, his chances I feel like are still better than everyone else's to win. So he still could definitely lose, but I don't necessarily feel like I would not take that shot at all. So I agree 100,000% that they had to take that move tonight, and that was definitely the best the best choice for them. Okay. Crazy says, yeah, if Alyssa or Brittany won, Michael was probably going up. Yeah. I was starting to catch myself there too, because I feel like, I feel like at least for Alyssa, she's really like, I'm going to go all in on this girls thing and stick with that. I feel like Taylor, I don't know. Again, I haven't been watching the feed, so I can't really say for sure. But I feel like both of them would probably take that shot, to be quite frank. Sorry, signing in something. Okay, so where do we go from there? Maybe Taylor and Joseph could tie. Nah, they're not going to tie. I don't think that's statistically possible. But I do think it's going to be one of them wins, the other one comes in second. Taylor probably will win. I would definitely give the money. I would put my money on Taylor winning for sure. Okay, let's see where else. Crazy says, I definitely bring Alyssa to the final two. It's an instant win. I agree, but I also do feel like it's going to be a tough, when you're in Brittany's position, cutting Taylor to bring Alyssa, I feel like that could, that still probably is the best play at that point. But it's risky. It's very risky because I don't know how many votes she'll get after doing that. So that's a really rough one. Robbie says it's not possible, but it's nice though. Yeah, it'd be nice. Okay, so what did we miss before we started here? Let's go back up. Crazy Matt says, I was wrong about Terrence, but yes on Michael being evicted. He was so salty. Yeah, he was salty. We already talked about that. Marine. Hi, Marine. Thanks for stopping by. Hey, Mona. I saw you up there, too. How you doing? Marine says, I don't know about this final six. I guess it's Monty and Taylor for final two, or maybe Turner. I like all three of them. Yeah, I like all three of them, too. I'm not even salty at Brittany gets to the end. And I mean, I feel like there's not a big enough sample size. Like, I have been saying for so long, I love Monty. I really do. And I would definitely put him as a better player over Brittany. And I feel like he would win over Brittany. Same with Turner. Everything I just said about Monty all applies to Turner as well. But they still have not been that impactful, I don't feel like. So, and made that big of moves where I'm like, I would be angry if Brittany made it to the end and won. Because at this point, I'm like, as much as I hate being in the position where I'm not on a game level really rooting for anyone that's left, I actually kind of enjoy it because now I kind of get a fresh perspective and I have to find myself, or I have to find someone to reattach myself to as who I'm rooting for. And right now, I really don't know. I don't know. And so I'm like, as long as I'm sure Alyssa is great. Alyssa seems great. She's the only person that I would be upset seeing win, to be quite frank, because I just don't feel like she is deserving at all. I don't see that happening at all. Who knows? Things could change in 2 weeks, and we could be eating our words for that. You never know. But I would be insanely surprised if something did happen that caused that to occur. Marine says Jasmine for AFP. Haha, just kidding. I'm voting Joseph. That's kind of where I'm at so far. I do love Taylor, but I love Joseph. I just love Joseph so much, and I am not at all. I would not be unhappy at all to see Joseph win that. Crazy said, personally, Robbie, and don't hate me, but I'm voting for Terrence or Kyle for AFP. Hey, to each their own. I could see aspects of why you would want to, especially Terrence. I could definitely see why you might want to vote for Terrence. And like I said before, we're not hating on Kyle. I feel like he made some very poor choices, very poor decision making. But we don't hate. I would not. That's not who I would want to see to win AFP. To be quite honest. But if he does, oh well. That's. If he did win, it would be because that's the majority of what America wanted to win. I don't see that happening, to be quite frank. I really don't. But if it did, oh well. Like, I have people that I want to see win, but I'm not angry at anyone that doesn't, because that's who, like, the purpose of that vote or that prize is who is America's favorite. So as long as we're getting the actual, true, real, honest result of that, and it's not manipulated by production, except for the winner. I'm personally, I know some people are against it. I'm okay with them not letting the winner be eligible for it. But my mind could be changed on that. It definitely could. But up to this point, I've kind of always been like, if they do, that's fine. If they decide to not make them qualify for it, I'm fine with it. They've said in the past that the winner does qualify. I don't know if I believe that. But yeah, as again, I do have people that I would like to see win that, just like there are people that I would like to see win the game. But as the game adapts, like I turned to my wife tonight and I'm like, I do not want to see Michael go because that's the person I'm rooting for, but I'm hoping that he does, kind of, because as much as that's the person that I want to win, or that's who I wanted to win, at least before tonight, that's who I was pulling for the most. At the same time, for me, I want to see good gameplay. And so as long as we're getting good gameplay, whoever is in the final two, whichever one of those is the best player that season, should win. And I don't think that... I really do feel like the best player of the season does come down to the final two, because whatever happened, the two... And we actually hear, again, Survivor, but we hear this on Survivor a lot during the final tribal, is, of course, there's usually 3 people there, but the jury there always says, you guys did something right. All 3 of you have proven to be better players than all of us because you did something that we didn't do to get yourself here. So I always feel like the argument for who the best player was that season while by all means there could be legend players, and Michael, I do feel like, aside from some of the stuff tonight and this past week or two, I do feel like he is a legendary player. There can still be MVPs and Hall of Famers, even if they didn't win the title themselves. There are so many. What's going on? Oh no! What's going on? There we go. Sorry about that. There's so many great players that have never won, it's. I feel like, when it comes down to it, the best player becomes, who are the final two. So I don't really care who wins, AFH or AFP, AFH, AFP. I don't really care. Like I want Joseph to win, if not Joseph Taylor. But besides that, I really and we kind of talked about it last night. The only person that I would be like, no, to winning would be Paloma, and only because of the expulsionary aspect of her leaving the game, not because of what she said or did, strictly because she was expelled, which should disqualify you from everything, in my opinion. If they want to bring them back, depending on the circumstances, depending on the reason that they were expelled, it's up to them. They have that ability to, and I'm fine with whatever they decide. But from a game impact, I don't feel like. And America's favorite player is a game impact, even though it is post game. So that's the only thing that I would be like, no, I wouldn't want to see her do that because I don't feel like she qualified for it. So I don't really care. It just depends on who who's there. Crazy Matt says Cody on 19 might have been 7. You're right, because Cody won, and no, I think he was 6, because I think I can't remember where we started, but there was a fine line where we started having the first 5 house guests are pre-jury. Everyone after that is a jury, and then the final 2. I don't know if 19 they had officially. I know that was kind of the standard, but we also had a lot of first night boots back then too, and they kind of stopped doing that after 20. So I feel like 20 was really the big cutoff, definitively, from that. But can't remember when he left either. Yeah, because he was. I feel like he was the first jury member. I'm pretty sure he was the first jury member. So that would put him out at either 6 or 7. One of the two. I want to say he was the first jury member. I can't think of who was before him, because I think he was the one that was like, "Oh, I'm totally fine. I've had this house to myself for 2 weeks or for a week, and I've been completely fine with it." So I think it was him. Okay, have we missed anything else in here? Where did my mouse go? Oh, my mouse is dead. Oh, that's awesome. Let's see. Let's plug it in real quick. Oh, goodness. Let's do this here. Maybe this one. Oh. So much going on. Always. Never not. Just to plug in here. Maybe this will work better. Sorry, guys. Let's get this plugged in. Oh, it's not going to do that. Oh, well. Okay. I'll try back this way. Hopefully this just charges here. All right. Let's see. All right. We'll get that going for a second. Okay. Keep that scrolled down a bit. Okay. So where do we leave off? So we were going to talk about jury. So jury, I actually I appreciated the jury segment quite a bit, to be quite frank. I want to say this, right? Kyle going into jury, it was. it's hard to even give him too much credit for me because I feel like he did. We did miss Michael's big mistake. Crazy Matt says Michael's big mistake was winning too much. Kyle said a dumb thing, but I think they were the best two players. I don't think Kyle was a bad player overall. I think once Alyssa started being his priority, that's when he tanked. And for me, I feel like, he did pretty much kind of tank it for Alyssa, and that really clouded his judgment. I feel like he should have handled the situation with Alyssa better. I feel like he was not giving her very much info and then not treating her the best afterwards. So I feel like that situation can be handled a little bit better. I do think Michael was the best player. I also think Joseph was one of the better ones. I think he had a lot of potential. Joseph he got really far ahead of himself really easily, and that was a big challenge for him. It's just there really haven't been it's this week. This season has been kind of rough. I feel like we went from having in the beginning we weren't getting a lot of floater energy in my opinion. To all of a sudden everyone just kind of mellowed out and no one was really doing anything for a while. And the only big moves were, a lot of it was petty stuff, and then the other was just, okay, well, you've done something bad and now we have to punish you. So it's been a challenging one from that perspective, to say the least. Anyway. No, what I was going to say was with the jury, I do think it's kind of hard to give a ton of credit, but to Kyle, because going in there, it's not like he can hide, right? He knows he's going to have to address it. And so I do, but on the other side, I will give him some credit, because I do feel like once he finally got, and we didn't really see a ton of it on the episode, with Kyle, once he got to a certain point, he kind of realized some of the mistakes he had been making and wanted to try and get ahead of him, and try and correct those. So I will give him some credit for that. And I really enjoyed the fact that I feel like we got the most honest response from Jasmine about anything we've seen this season from her at all, because she was straight up like, dude, I literally thought that we had a ton of stuff in common, and I thought we were buds. I thought we were together, and then he just straight up is like, she's like, you just proved that all of that was not true. So, sorry, hold on. I just feel like that it was really kind of genuine what we got from her with that. And then Joseph was just straight up like, okay, so you were in there thinking, oh, all these people are teaming up because they're minorities, while he described, I believe the way he described himself, I don't want to say it, honestly, but he basically says, look, I'm a minority, I'm a Pakistani guy, or an Arab guy, and I'm out here trying to cover for you and save you, when you're in there saying, I must be coming after you because I'm a minority. And assuming that, oh, I'm for sure targeting you because I'm a minority. And you could just see like the pain on his face from hearing that from him. He really was not expecting to hear that at all. And it was very upsetting for him. And it was hard to watch. It was. But I do appreciate, I will say it straight up, I do appreciate the other house guests, because they don't have to. They don't have to be forgiving. They don't have to be, completely ready. Like, obviously, they were like, what did he say? Because I had it in here. he said, or Joseph says that he's like, I'm disappointed in you. I'm disappointed in the decisions you make, but I don't hate you. And Jasmine kind of led that off. And Jasmine, I feel like she was such a great example of that because she had no interest in even like, at least from what she was saying, it sounded like she had zero interest in playing for the minorities or playing for people of her race. She was like, I don't care. Like, I'm just going to play for whoever. So she was very, very obviously not going to do that. Again, nothing wrong with she did, but she very obviously was making it known that no, she didn't want to do that. Like, she just wanted to work with whoever she vibed with, and she didn't vibe with any of those people besides Terrence, really. And even then, she was like, kept him at arm's length. So, but Terrence was the same way too about the rest of them. And that was also like, that was on the inside when that happened. And Terrence was like, dude, like, what are you talking about? Like, I have been nowhere near any of them. And Jasmine is like, I have never once talked any game with Monty at all. And it was kind of funny, honestly, to just see their reactions with that. I thought anyway, from that specifically. But yeah, it was very kind of tough to watch. My wife said Kyle looked like he walked up with his tail tucked between his legs. He definitely did, 100%. I was like, yeah, he he definitely looks like he is nervous to be there. He did not look excited to be there and have that conversation. Yeah, but I think, again, they didn't have to, and they did. They were very, I would say it as forgiving. They weren't, they were definitely holding him accountable for what he said, but, they were, I feel like they were very forgiving and understanding in that instance when they didn't have to be. And I did think that was a nice moment, getting to see that. Crazy says, Joseph tried to play both sides. He was sloppy about it. Yes. I think for a while he was doing really good. The problem was the rest of the leftovers were like, okay, it's time to stop now. And he's like, but I don't want to stop. I'm having fun. And so he took that way further than it needed to be. Initially, I think he was doing a good job. It was kind of necessary, and I think he was doing a really good job at it. But once they had gotten to the point where it wasn't necessary anymore, that's when he should have stopped. I mean, maybe not 100%, but really, really brought a hard stop, and he didn't, and I think that was part of his downfall. Did we read Robbie's "Oh Lordy"? I hope Alyssa doesn't win. Yeah, me too. That's the only one where I'm like, oh, I would really hate to see that. Again, not for any personal reasons. She just hasn't done anything, and I would just hate to see that. But I really don't see. Even if Brittany did cut Taylor and take Alyssa, I do still think Brittany wins over Alyssa. I do not think it would be a landslide by any means. But I do think Brittany would have the upper hand on there. No, I won't say that. I feel like if she kind of realized or she understood the backlash her and Michael have been getting the past week or so, because of how much they were sitting on that information, I feel like she would be a little bit more like forward and be like, well, we talked to him, and she did do pretty much all the talking Kyle down and was like, dude, no. Where Michael was just felt like, I'm staying out of it. I'm not going to get involved. You go tell him that and then come back and tell me how that went, So, yeah, I do think that if she understood that, she would try and get ahead of that a little more. That being said, I feel like I feel like Alyssa's connection to Kyle, if for no other reason, that would be what keeps her from winning, to be honest. Depending on how, because just depending on how other people's perception was. Now, so far, a lot of the jury members that are currently there are not seeming to be, like, obviously they were upset. It was very clear. But I don't know that they are going to hold on to it that much. I do think there are at least a couple people in the house that would not be as willing to look over that line of events that happened. But we could be wrong. And who knows? I just feel like I don't see a path for Alyssa getting to the end, to be honest. Let's see. Crazy Matt says jury is going to have fireworks next week with Terrence and Michael going in. Yeah. But at this point it's like, okay, what is there to say? What is there to do? Like, there's who in the house? I can't think of anyone in the house that currently has someone in the jury. I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong. If you guys can think of anything, let me know. But I cannot think of a single thing or a single person in the house that really has a true enemy in jury. And I know as soon as I say that, I'm probably going to be like, oh, no, this person. But I can't think of anyone. Yeah, I feel like Terrence really... the biggest one would have been Terrence and Michael. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Michael is really angry at Turner and Monty. But I feel like after he cools off for a few days and processes the fact that, despite the fact that he had already pretty much determined that he wasn't gonna win, I feel like he'll be like, okay, like it was a game. And he even said, like, he was very arrogant about it, very cocky. After he got voted out, he was like, oh no, 100% it was the best decision. Like that's what they needed to do. That's what they should have done. And that's what was best for the game. They needed to get me out. So he knows that it was the best move. I think once he gets past the initial hurt of, because in his mind he already had that $750K. So I feel like for him he's kind of got to mourn that loss a little bit, and then hopefully he's able to get back to a game mentality. And I'm really hoping he'll be able to give it to the best player, no matter who that is at that time. Terrence will not vote for Taylor. Crazy Matt says, yeah. Probably not. I still don't. After all this time, I still don't know what it is that Terrence is holding on so much to against Taylor. I really don't. I know this has been the tale older than time. We've been talking about this since the beginning, but now that most everyone has, I feel like at this point, there are combinations where Jasmine would vote for Taylor. I feel like maybe not. I feel like their judgment is so clouded in this game that they would honestly just be like, "Oh yeah, Alyssa's a far better game player than Taylor," because not necessarily because of their dislike for Taylor. I mean, that very well could be a part of it, but not even just that necessarily. I feel like they would genuinely believe that that Alyssa is a better game player than Taylor. I feel like their judgment is that clouded that they would view it that way. 100%. 100%. Crazy Matt says fees are down there. They might be playing HOH. Maybe. What time is it over there? It is 9, so it's pretty late. But yeah, they could be. We'll see. I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't until first thing in the morning. But
whenever they had the double, like we saw it tonight where like the comps were broken apart. I don't know if we ever got a wide shot of the backyard. Usually we get some type of wide shot of the backyard, and we see them like walking along like the bush wall. Did we not see that? I don't think we did. I don't think we got to see the bush wall tonight that we normally see. That's always kind of a fun part to watch as they're like going in and out. Even last season they had it. So that would have been fun to see. 12:45 over there, so 9:45. Yeah, it's 11:45 for me. So yeah, it is 9:45 BB time. So they are. They probably if they already had a section of it set up, like they felt they had enough space to do it, they definitely could have already set one up for tonight. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I wouldn't be surprised if they did wait until the morning, just to tear everything back down. But they do usually like to try and get it the very next or that same night. They don't like to go overboard because it kind of messes around with the optics for HOH and stuff. See the what? I don't know. Are you talking about whenever I said the wide shot? Because normally we usually get a wide shot of the backyard for like during the double eviction night, where it kind of shows like you can kind of get a slight visual of all the different comps that are set up, which is always kind of cool to see. Like after they finish one and then go back and do another one, you can kind of see the wide shot of the other one. I don't know. I love the behind the scenes stuff. But that's if that's what you're asking, that's what I was talking about. What else did we see tonight? I was surprised, just as a casual, seeing the turn. Like I said, because this week I was very much watching as a casual. I hadn't been keeping up with the feeds. I was very surprised seeing the turn that Michael or that Monty and Turner had, because from the episode it looked like they were gung ho. Like as it was going on, I'm like, they just said that they're gonna do it, right? They just said that they're gonna stick together. So I'm like, surely Monty's not gonna take her down and get Michael put up. But I was wrong. It was a little bit shocking, but that's part of like the crappy way they edit the show. I feel like that is a really good example for most casual viewers. Is like, see, look, they just told you this wasn't going to happen, and none of it. Once it came back to Monty, it looked like none of that ever occurred. He was just like, no, like none of that. It's almost like it didn't even happen. Like they made him act it out, because it was just a complete 180 from what actually happened, from what they were trying to make it look like. So yeah, but it was a little bit jarring, I thought, going from there. Let's see. Yeah, I like Terrence is, whenever he leaves, he's basically like, I got to do the same thing that my buddy Daniel did and just storm out. And he tells Julie that he's been manipulated, or he has manipulated the game, and he's been moving the game, and so he was definitely a better or a stronger threat than Alyssa, so definitely was a good game move. And I like Julie straight up called him out. She's like, so you've talked a lot about how you hate Michael. Is there anything you like about Michael? And he's like, oh, I think he's got a lot of drive, and I really appreciated that about him. She's like, oh, you really seem to hate him. Is there anything that you like about him? Props to Julie for getting through that not the first interview, but the second one, because normally those second ones are harder for them because they don't know who's going to leave. They try and have like basic notes, but I feel like Michael was one that they're like, okay, we definitely know that this is possible. We know exactly what we're going to say about it. So, they already had like I feel like they were very prepared for that, and then we're just kind of like, okay, kind of ad-lib, like if this for if this happens and this, that, but, you know, the method, they were like, we don't know exactly how, but probably will be out. So, but it still is a little bit more on the fly. And seeing as how she couldn't even say her own name or the name of the show earlier in the episode, good for her for being able to get through it. Because I was like, oh goodness, I don't know how she's going to do at all. What was with Mike? I still can't get over his exit, dude. Like, what was with that where he's just like, everyone just sit on your butts. Just stay seated. Sit on your butts. Don't get up. Don't bother standing up. Don't follow me. I don't want to talk to you. I only have one thing that I want to say to all of you. And then just storms out. That seems so kindergarten-ish, to be honest. He's just like, no, not even kindergarten's that immature. Where he's just like, oh, I got one thing to say, and then just tries to like leave him hanging. And then she asks him, she's like, what was the one? And Julie's face was like, her jaw was on the floor. So whenever he comes out, I'm like, did he say something? And they just cut the audio. And I was like, dude, what did he say? And then she's like, did you actually say something? And he's like, no, I just wanted to mess. I just wanted them to think that I had something to say, even though I didn't. So I just wanted to mess with them. I'm like, okay. I've been such a, like, tonight is so hard because even after last week, I was like, listen, I get why everyone's upset with Michael and Brittany for sitting and using this, and 100,000%, it very much comes across, or it very much looks like they're doing that on a game basis, or solely sat on that information and waited until they needed to use it to save themselves. I don't disagree that is how that looked, and that I'm not saying it is, but I'm also not saying it's not. But even after last week, I was like, I'm still mostly pulling for Michael. But after just the way, like, his sore loserness was so bad that even as someone like me, I am a very sore loser, as I have killed many Monopoly games. Even I'm just like, dude, that was just brutal to watch. Like, just throwing his best friend under the bus when it was not at all necessary. It just wasn't. He did not have to do that, and he chose to do it, and it was not at all necessary. And it's very, again, it was just so, the whole thing was just tasteless. Not a fan of how that all went down, to be honest. Maureen says, I can't believe Terrence said Daniel and Nicole were his favorites in the game. Is that I might have missed a lot of that. I don't always pay as much attention to the interviews as I leave, especially depending on the person, because it's like, I don't really, like, I'm trying to use that time to catch back up on my notes, or take care of something that doesn't require me to be taking notes, where I can still listen and not have to be writing down. So I don't know. He might have. Oh, sorry. If he mentioned that, that's crazy. That he mentioned that tonight when they've been gone for so long, and obviously went down so hard. I'll be like, honestly, I feel like I would enjoy having dinner with Terrence. I think he'd be an interesting guy to chat with, very much so. I know that I've said this before. I've not said it on stream, but there is a slight part of Terrence that reminds me of my dad just a little bit, in his, like, just the way he talks and his personality, like, just a little bit, and it kind of cracks me up. So I'm like, I would not mind sitting and having a conversation with Terrence. There's definitely been times where I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? But overall, I have enjoyed, at least up until the last week or so, I really have enjoyed Terrence's character that he's had. Crazy Matt says, do you think Michael ruined his chances for an All-Star? I don't think necessarily that he did. I think, especially not just based off tonight. No. I think the only thing that could, I do think that tonight sealed the fate on wrecking his chance for America's favorite player. Because I feel like he kind of really showed that he really hurt people, especially Brittany, someone that was really close to him. But just because, just because he might have angered a lot of people from that perspective doesn't mean that there are not still going to be a lot of people that, for one thing, are going to overlook that, at least at a certain level. They're going to be like, listen, I'm not giving him my vote for AFP because he really did people dirty, but I would love to see him play again. I think he was a great player. I just think in that very last moment when his back was against the wall, that he really mishandled that. And then I feel like there's going to be some people that just forget it altogether. So I would definitely put Michael on a, what was that? So what was it rumored that season 25, was it like not an All-Stars, but like a second chance type thing? Or Legends. I think it was Legends that they were thinking about doing for season 25. They probably would have done a season All-Stars for 25 if COVID hadn't come around. Guaranteed. And I like All-Stars. Shoot me. I don't care. I do not care. I loved All-Stars both seasons, and I love the concept. I'm fine with concepts as long as it's spaced out enough, because we have to make sure when we're doing these returning seasons that we're giving enough room to build more resumes for more new players. But also, too, when we're doing returning seasons, it's got to be all returnees. I do not like mixing and matching. The only possible concept that I would be remotely okay with is a fans versus favorites type thing. But even that, I still feel like is way too cheaty and way too heavy-handed in the opposite direction. I just feel like it really does not give the newbie players a very strong chance, because we've seen that time after time after time after time again, where almost every time the returning player beats out the new player. The only two that I can think of, and I might be forgetting one, maybe one, but the only two that I can think of where it didn't happen was in 14 when Ian won over Dan because Dan pissed everyone off so bad. I love Ian. Dan should have won that. And with Paul, because of just how angry everyone was at Paul for similar. I mean, not nearly as bad. Dan would have won over Paul in that instance, but I that's like I would be. I do hope they do a Legends season for 25, because, like I said, like I was saying, I love returning player seasons if it's spaced out enough, if it's all returners, and if we get a good enough cast. But that is the hard part, is getting a good enough cast of returners, because you don't get the right combination, it could definitely go downhill. But I like 22. I did. You can sue me, you can shoot me, I don't care. I liked it. I said shoot me earlier when I meant sue me. I don't care. Shoot me, sue me, I don't care. Oh, sorry. I say what I want. Okay. So, Crazy Matt says, if Michael and Kyle get an all-star callback, that could be something to see. It could. Kyle will not. I would be incredibly surprised to see Kyle get one. I could maybe see them try, like, if they ran into a situation where they did during COVID, where they couldn't have a regular season, they had to do an all-returner season, and it was like pulling teeth trying to negotiate contracts, get people in, get people to agree, and on top of that, keep them from getting exposed in any way, because they can say all day long that if they talk about trying to get in, that they're going to get booted if they expose it. But every single one of those people, I mean, even if you go, like, I love Cody California, that's what we call him around here from the other one. But I love Cody Calafiore. But even he, like, on his channel, if you go on his streams, like, I think I even asked him one time and said something about it, and he'll tell you straight up, like, listen, he's not going to talk about pre-gaming. He just didn't really do it, but he's like, it's not like he he'll tell you he did get text. He had people asking him. And there were discussions that being had. He didn't really involve himself in it very much, but even he was like, I'm not saying that even I didn't have any discussions. So there was all of it, but I could see a situation with Kyle where they end up he might try and get some type of redemption arc. As far as, hey, look at Kyle where he's learned his lesson. He's grown a lot as a person, and they could attempt to try and give him something like that. Again, I don't think it's likely. I'm not saying they should or shouldn't, but I do think it's a possibility in that specific instance. But I don't think it's likely. I would be very, very, very surprised if we ever saw. Why am I blanking now? If we ever saw Kyle again, I really would, unfortunately. Let's see. What are you guys saying? I missed a lot. Okay. Okay, Marine says, crazy mad. Michael was definitely... Yeah, I agree. I do agree. I feel like if they brought back some type of Legend season, Michael would definitely be on there. I also feel like he would probably get taken out pretty quick just because when you're dealing with All-Stars, they're not going to let people sit by and just sweep their way through all these competitions. Like, these other house guests have just... It wasn't until just within the last week or so where they're actually like, okay, yeah, we actually got to get out. We actually have to get out Michael because he's winning so many comps. That would not fly in at least a legitimate All-Stars season. That definitely would not fly. Sorry, trying to sign something up here. Yeah, so let's see. Crazy Matt says, Marine, I agree, but production has people that are all-stars they definitely will never call again. That's true. I don't disagree with that. And that that is a shame. I do feel like that is a shame. I feel like there are several missed opportunities there that a lot of people... I do feel like there are a handful of people that should get called back. I will say this. Knowing that there is... Say what you want. There is a high likelihood that next season isn't all returners. It's not guaranteed by any stretch of the imagination at all. Season 20, they did try and do some type of like they still had heavy-handed twists, but even though they still had ridiculous twists that were very bad and lasted all season, or a bunch of little twists that were all very bad, and they had several little twists all throughout the season. Even though they did have that, they were very much like, we want to kind of resemble like a little bit of back to basics, and they were trying to kind of have that theme of people from older seasons and that type of stuff. So I don't... Maybe Rockstar's daughter would be old enough to go with her. But anyway, season 20, they definitely did try and have some of that reminiscent stuff. That being said, with all of that, I still think we do have a strong likelihood that next season isn't all returners. I am excited. If that is the case, I'm very excited knowing the players we did get for All-Stars versus who was rumored. A lot of the people we got for All-Stars were alternates of alternates of alternates. Not all of them. I know they did get a few that they wanted from the beginning, but the majority of them were at least one tier down from an alternate. And so, yeah, I would not be opposed at all to seeing... I would not be opposed at all to seeing, some different players. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Okay, so STEM. I Thanks for coming and joining the chat, and we always appreciate adding to the chat. But I will say we do try and keep things positive here. We try and keep things respectful, and so we won't have that. We won't really be. We don't like talking like that. By all means, share your opinions and all that stuff, but let's keep it respectful. Okay. What do we miss? Robbie says, I think they should have a All-Stars geriatric. I've heard geriatric before. I've heard that terminology, but I don't actually know what it means because I don't know that it is very relevant to anything that I've ever dealt with. Oh, relating to old. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I would have assumed. Yeah. I'm not. See, here's the thing. I don't understand why some people think that just because players are old that they can't do good. I mean, look at Cliff. He won several competitions, and like, just because you're older does not mean that you can't come in and absolutely dominate. I love Cliff. I can't get enough of Cliff. That Cliff, for those of you, if any of you aren't aware, he does have his own channel on YouTube, Cliff Notes, and it is awesome. I love going in and listening to him, his updates. That's one person I would love to just be able to sit down and chat with for some time. But yeah, I would love that. But yeah, I mean, just because you get people that are older in there does not mean that they can't be successful. And so the only asterisk to that is the competitions do tend to be more geared toward physical, and the competitions that they have that are physical aren't built for a lot of older players. If they can even that out more, then by all means, dude, I would love to see I would be fine with seeing like an old school versus new school, not necessarily like for returning players, but like or I guess like maybe Gen X versus millennials like we had on Survivor, or even a Gen Z. I think that'd be fun, dude, if we had like half Gen X, or even like, can you imagine, like, I don't know, would boomers be too old? I don't know, because when you talk about like who said Jerry? I saw someone said Jerry. Where did I miss it? Oh yeah, Robbie said Jerry. Donnie's not too old. I mean, Donnie could still definitely come in and I mean, Donnie would win, but he would still, like, he would be capable, I feel like. Jerry, how old is Jerry? Like that was season 10. That was what, 13, 14 years ago? And he was already that. How old is he when he did it? Wasn't he in his 70s when he did it? I don't know. I feel like Gen X is still like a little younger than what I'm hoping for. I really want like grumpy people, like Jerry. Like, can you just imagine like 8 people, like 8 Jerrys versus like, because Dan was pretty young. How old was Dan in his first season? I think he just turned 30. But no, I think he was younger. I think he was like 27, 28. So having people that were like, I mean, that we'd still be looking at like zillennial type stuff. Okay, imagine this. Imagine 8 Jerrys and 8 Zach Rances from season 16. I would love to see that. see like 8 young people just pissing people off, pissing off old guys. I feel like that would be so much fun to watch. Personally, I would love it. Okay, where we go? And then yeah, some people saying Donnie. I would love to see Donnie. Terrence, Cliffhog, Chicken George. Yeah, I would love to see Chicken George. I know Stim comment on Chicken George. I would love to see Chicken George on there. And Stim says, I hope Monty or Turner win. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning right now, to be quite frank. But I like I said, I am open to I'm open to whatever happens so far at this point, because I really don't have anyone that a true solid. And again, like I said earlier, this is when it gets fun and exciting for me, because now I get to, every time it happens where the only person that I'm really rooting for gets voted out, now I get to kind of start over and flip that back over and start fresh again and see, okay, well, now I can kind of go back in and be really unbiased as to who I think out of the remaining people are the best players. So this is when I really start to enjoy it. Let's see, where do we leave off? And then, everyone's saying Chicken George, Donnie, Cliff, Marine likes Cliff. Crazy Mad says, wrench me, and I'll post Cliff's channel. Oh, okay. Yeah, Crazy Mad, we could probably get you in mod status. We'll definitely get you in there. This is the only way I know how to do it. Comment after this video post, after the live stream post. Comment on my on the uploaded version after it gets like reposted. Just post just any comment on there, and that way I can get a link for your channel, and we'll get you added as mod. And then because I don't know how to do it live, to be quite frank, so I'm not going to mess with it right now. But I will get that done next time. Or can I? I don't want to mess around too much. Jerry is still kicking. How old is he, though? How old is Jerry? Robbie says Jerry's probably in his 90s. That's what I was thinking. I feel like Jerry is probably in his 90s by now. He's up there. Crazy Mad. So I look at the stream based on SLOBS. Let me see if I never actually pull it up this way. Let me see. I might be able to. Nope, not what I want. Try not to make my own deal super laggy. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. All right, now try it. See if that works. Anyway. And also too, I do not get the subscriber notification. YouTube is not based on subscriber alerts. Even as much as Twitch is about follow alerts. Even Twitch is really good at follow alerts. I'm not gonna lie, I've been tempted to do Twitch first streams, but I like what we're doing with YouTube, and it's a lot easier. But anyway, I try and stay updated when I can. Sometimes it tells me, sometimes it doesn't. But I did see that Stim subscribed, so thank you, Stim, for subscribing. It's always great to have new people join the chat and join the conversation. So I'm glad you subscribed. Thanks for doing that. Let's see, where do we live off? Everyone's talking about Jerry. Crazy says, I saw him in an interview with Dan Giesling. What interview would Dan do last year? Do you know? Because I try and stay up to date on all that type of stuff. Dan has been I'll tell you what, I actually had a really geeky moment where I'm still fairly young compared to some, and I did once, Minecraft was a big thing when I was 15, 16 is when it started taking off, and so there's a YouTuber that I used to watch, and he actually did a server that I've been watching for years, and he actually did a server during COVID, and Dan was on, and so Dan is playing with one of my favorite YouTubers, Minecraft YouTubers, and he's sitting there talking about his Big Brother experiences, and it was super meta, best of two of my favorite worlds, to be honest, and not just the Minecraft stuff, but I've been watching this gamer YouTuber for years for all kinds of stuff, so it's just really awesome getting to see one of my favorite YouTubers interacting with my favorite Big Brother player of all time, and him just asking him questions about it. It was I thought that was awesome. But yeah, so I try and stay up to date with all that stuff. But I don't see Dan. He doesn't really talk a lot about it. The last time he really addressed Big Brother stuff was for All Stars, because he did this hilarious thing where there was a lot of rumors about who was going on, who wasn't, and he was asked for sure, but he turned it down. But he didn't tell everyone that. He took a week vacation, and then okay, awesome. I will have to watch that after. Thank you so much for linking that, Crazy Matt. But he did this whole thing where he took off for a week, made it seem like he was going to be gone for a while, and really trying to feed into the fact that the suspicions of, oh, maybe he is going to go in and be on the All-Star season, and totally trolled everyone. Oh, he was not on at all. He had no intentions of going on All-Stars, but it was fun. And because he knew, and he said, because I've joined, I've watched Dan's streams from time to time, and he's made it very clear. He's like, I want these to be separate things. And even like when he was talking to that other YouTuber on Twitch, when they were doing that stream, he was even mentioning there, he was like, I don't this is separate for me. And I get people come up to me all the time for different stuff, but it's more Twitch stuff now. He's like, most people know me now from Twitch, and he almost makes it sound like he kind of wants to keep it separate, but that was a fun deal where he was like, listen, I know all these Big Brother people have recently found out that I'm a successful Twitch streamer, and they all want to like be a part of this. So he got to kind of bring both worlds into that, and it was kind of like summed up by the fact that at the end he's like, all right, all you Big Brother people, this is the part where we're transitioning into the regular stream now, so all the Big Brother people can leave or stay if you want to stay, but if you were just here for that, leave. And I just thought that was kind of cool, because it kind of was summarized as to how he was able to bring both those together and kind of merge those for just a little bit. But yeah, any interview Dan does, I want to know about it. Anytime you guys hear anything that he does Big Brother related, let me know, because he just doesn't do as much as well as a lot of people do anyway. Because he's like, listen, I got my own following for something completely different, and that's what I want to prioritize. Crazy Mad also linked Janelle because she has a podcast with McRae. Yeah, I haven't actually listened to any of their stuff, but I really need to. I follow so many people that it is hard to keep up. It really is. And like, I like getting a lot of different opinions, but after hearing the same, like, not the same opinion, but like the same kind of like, this happened in the episode, and it kind of gets a little repetitive, but I definitely try and keep up with as many as I can. But there are just so many. There really are. But yeah, what else do we have to cover tonight? It is getting pretty late. It's been a much later stream. Let's see. Anything else to touch on that we didn't? No, I don't think there was. Do you guys have any other questions, comments? Let me know in the chat, and we're gonna start wrapping it up here. Anyone that's new, like I said, we did get a new subscriber tonight. Thank you so much for that. Stim Bayless, thank you so much for subscribing. Anyone else that is new here, and to Stim as well, we try and go live about 15 to 30 minutes after the episode airs for each of the episodes, and we just like to hang out and recap what's going on. So if you like the stream and you're enjoying it, hit that like button. It really does help. And if you are new here and you haven't subscribed yet and you're having fun here, join the chat. Come hang out and chat with us. We have a lot of fun on these recaps. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're trying to work our way up to 100. I would like to hit 100 by the end of the season. I thought we were at one point that we were going to make it, but I still would like to see that. So if you guys know anyone that enjoys Big Brother and they're not further deep into it than just watching the episode, let them know. Say, hey, come join me. Come chat with me on this stream. Because we have a lot of fun. We really do. I have a lot of fun with you guys. Because even like, and I said this, and I know it sounds very, very sappy, way more than I mean it to, but legitimately, even on the episodes where I'm like not really like enjoying the week and even the episode that much itself. Just coming and hanging out and chatting with you guys, I have a lot of fun every single time. And even whenever the episodes are a little bit harder to get through, you guys make them a lot more fun just hanging out and chatting. So, yeah. Oh, I missed it. Robbie says Jerry is 89. Okay. So then that would have put him at like 75, around 75 whenever he played the first time. Or whenever he did play. That's crazy. Said, I wish they would do one of those old challenges where they had to shave their heads. Yeah, that's always fun. I like that. I used to kind of be annoyed about it. I was like, nah, it's fine. Like that's where I said earlier this season. Because when I first heard of the one punishment for Terrence where he had to put tattoos, I legit I know I shouldn't have, but like legit, I was like, are they making him get like real tattoos? Because like that's where I draw the line. Like you don't sign up thinking you're going to have to like tattoo your entire body. But shaving your head, your hair will grow back, so get over it. Yeah, your hair will grow back. Just get over it. Let's see, what else? And something else, too, like after... Has anyone else noticed, anyone else that watches Survivor, that a lot of the challenges this season have felt very Survivor-ish? Like tonight's veto challenge, that was... Like, it wasn't a one-for-one copy of any specific Survivor challenge, but that was extremely similar to a lot of different challenges. There's so many of them there where they're attached to the rope and they have to unwind themselves. That was taken straight out of a page from Survivor, and I'm for it. Like the thing with Survivor's challenges is they do all tend to be more physical, but like not all of them. Like they do have like puzzle challenges and some like mental challenges, but most of them do have a very, if not pretty much all of them do have a very heavy physical aspect to it. But it's a strategical physical aspect where yes, obviously there are some people that are going to have a leg up, but just because you're not the strongest person or have the most stamina does not necessarily mean that you know you're gonna not have a chance to win the challenge. Crazy Math says, I can't do Survivor. Alone is the real deal. What's alone? I don't know. Is that like are you abbreviating it? Maybe I'm missing it. Like Naked and Afraid or something? Is there another one? I tell you what, I really wanted to watch was Snake in the Grass. I didn't catch it, but the host for Snake in the Grass is a radio host, Bobby Bones. I've been following that dude for years. I haven't listened to stuff in a while, but I'm still a huge fan of his. And then seeing like old Survivor and Big Brother plays on there, definitely will have to go back and watch that. I don't know anything that happened. I don't even know if it's still going on or if the season ended. But that might be something we do after the fact. If I can avoid getting the winner spoiled for me. But it was a week-to-week winner, wasn't it? So I guess it doesn't matter. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't followed any of it, but we might try and do like a watch-along type thing for it. What is Alone? Is that what it's called? Alone? I'm gonna look that up. Alone. Oh yeah, it's just called Alone. I'm assuming it's kind of like Survivor, but where you're alone. Alone. American reality show. Okay, yeah. I've never actually seen that. That's kind of surprising. I feel like with the type of stuff... How long has that been going on? It's 2015? Yeah, that's weird that I haven't at least seen it or heard of it. Because that's usually something that I'm at least familiar with in one way or another. But yeah, I need to save. We're going to subscribe to that. Save. Watch later. Cool. And that way I can close that out. But yeah, okay, Jerry was 75 when he was on Big Brother. Yeah, that makes sense. Alone is where they put 10 people in the wilderness and they have to stay out there until they quit. I feel like I've heard of the concept of that, where it's I might have heard about that because the aspect of they're playing until everyone quits. I feel like I've heard about that before. Okay, I'd have to check that out. That does sound interesting. Does it have a lot of like? Do they show a lot of like the? I guess they're just by themselves, so it's just a Survivor, or they're just surviving straight up. I do think I like that aspect. Like I grew up watching like Survivor Man and that type of stuff. I like that. I'd have to watch it to see if it's something that we would want to cover on here, kind of based, because I do like to cover more of like the social strategy type of shows. That being said, I'm not like I call this channel Dak Chats, so we can chat about whatever Dak wants to chat about. To be quite honest with you, so I never want to tie myself down too much when it comes to we're only talking about this over that, but. It might be, I'd have to check it out and see if it's something. It's a lot like Survivor Man. Okay, so I don't know. I'm probably wouldn't be something that I'd want to cover, but I definitely will check it out, and who knows. But just with the type of format that I do, I don't know that it'd be a good fit. But I definitely will check out the show. It does sound interesting. And I get. Listen. Here's one thing. I've had so many people say Survivor's fake. Survivor is not fake, but it's definitely not. I feel like the name Survivor is too generous for what is actually going on. If it really is Survivor, then I get why people are like, well, they're being provided with food. They have other items, like obviously even stuff like Alone and stuff, like they have. Survivor Man always had, a crew watching over him to make sure he didn't die. So any production is going to have that. But I understand the argument for that. I enjoy it for the social strategy aspect, because even though those people aren't surviving like they might be on Alone or like Survivor Man does, that being said, they still have a huge like physical impact on their bodies that's having a significant social strategy social strategy aspect as well. So that really affects how they play their game, how all of that goes on. So I definitely appreciate it for that aspect, for what it brings to that portion of it. Are the feet still down? I was going to check that real quick. Refresh. Looks like they are. Yeah, they're still down. So no HOH yet. Definitely are playing the comp, though. I would put money on that. Okay. All right, so I think we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping it up there. Thank you to everyone that tuned in tonight. It was an awesome night, really great night to cover. I love Double Eviction Night, and I'm so glad that they did 2 hours. I hope that they continue to do that. I hope they do every Thursday night episode is 2 hours. Like I've been saying for years, they need to. They just won't. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys, everyone, for joining. We had a great time tonight. And again, if you're new here and you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We go live 15 to 30 minutes after each airing of Big Brother. And it's not just Big Brother. We cover we will be covering a lot of different other stuff as this goes along. Big Brother is so intensive where, if you're covering all episodes, it takes up a lot of time. So we will be covering a lot more after Big Brother comes out. But for now, we're just going Big Brother. And we try and get on for every episode about 15 to 30 minutes after. So anyway, guys, I think that's going to do it for tonight. Again, thank you so much for joining the stream. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. If you like this stream, hit that like button. It helps out more than you know. And if you want to support us, also follow me at DakChats on Twitter, because that's where, right there, that's where, we send all of our channel updates whenever we need to send an update, because that's how I can communicate with you guys until we hit 500 and can hit access that community tab. But follow me on Dak Chats. And if you guys want to support the stream, right now all profit that we get just goes to upgrading different camera equipment, all of our streaming equipment. So you can click that link. It should be in the description of the video. It's also right here at Buy Me a Coffee. And if you want to, feel free. You can send a donation over there, and it's always appreciated if you guys do. But I think, like I said, we're gonna end it there tonight. And I'm sorry we had such a late start, but I still had a lot of fun with you guys tonight. So thanks again, everyone. Have a great night, and we will see you real soon. Sunday. Sunday's next one. So we will see you guys Sunday. Have a good night, everyone.